the tournament. It'll just be the halfway point there. But we're going to see who moves on into the winner's bracket, and we are off, starting in the northeast. Northeast here.
Yep, we'll be looking at probably an Armo strategy for both runners.
And an immediate any key as the Armos item. That is a wonderful early find.
Yep, that will allow both runners to do most of the dungeons quite easily, unless they're shutter blocked with a boss in the way. Even without a sword, any key is great.
Yeah, that's one early piece of a puzzle for dungeon exploration. I'd say it is the best piece of the puzzle, other than maybe the ladder, but having an early any key is just really, really powerful. It was surprising that Maligord went this way first instead of checking the Armos item right away, as chessjerk had done, but it looks like he is trying to make his way up to some open caves and find that wooden sword.
Yep, I don't necessarily blame him early on. It's easy enough to just up A your way out of there once you check those few caves.
Yeah, this screen right here with the Lionels is just nasty. Between the limited mobility that you have, all the lag that they on and off produce, it's really difficult to get through and up to this this one staircase. There's not staircase to one open cave, but both of them are being very persistent, and looks like CJ is going to get through.
Yep, looks like we also have a decent-sized medium secret of 38 rupees, so neither runner's going to be in absolute poverty this seed.
That's good. Yeah, there's nothing worse than with this second quest overworld that we have than to have really low medium secrets, because on the second quest overworld, we actually only get one large secret, and the other two large secrets are replaced by medium secrets, so the fact that they're 38 does definitely help. 2, on the other hand, is pretty low.
Yep, not the best of small secrets, but with the medium secret being so high, don't think that'll necessarily bother them too much.
I agree.
I also like the play to get some of these waterfall caves out of the way, because it's kind of a dead-end spot. However, we do find a hint shop at the top of the waterfall where the white sword iron would be in vanilla.
Yeah, and that's spread out over 30, 30, 30 roughly, so not terribly bad, but not terribly cheap. We'll see if those hints come into play later on. They need the book in these flag sets to understand all of those hints that they might find throughout the game. But what hints they do see are going to be helpful for them.
Yep, we've only had a few small changes between the Swiss round matchups in the bracket. The key one would probably be the second quest overworld, as Random Effect alluded to. You go down to 1 large secret instead of 3, and there are a couple more flute and power bracelet spots.
Yes, and also could be important that the enemy sets here all have increased their variability in HP to plus or minus 4 HP. As you just saw, chessjerk threw the flame candle at the blue Octorok and killed it in 1 hit. That means they rolled low on that, and he got his bomb drop, which is actually really important here for his exploration in the northeast. Can bomb some of these caves and finds a level immediately.
Yep, we don't have very cheap bombs, unfortunately. Though we did have a cheap candle. I think it was the minimum. It's 40.
And this level right here is looking suspiciously like level 2 to me that chessjerk is in. I'm pretty much going to say that this is level 2. But is Wizrobe infested without a sword? That is not great.
Yep, it's also got our favorite land molas, and they are quite quick, and we won't know how powerful they are yet, but they may get in your way.
Yeah, I'm surprised they didn't throw the candle at him real quick. And the wand right on the ground. That is a great thing to find. Doesn't really help with Wizrobes, but it'll help with everything else.
Yep, especially with these chips rolling quite high. And a meat block in the very next room. So we're getting thrown a lot of things early here in this level 2.
Yeah, that won't be a meat block, though, most likely. A lot of these rooms in 2 are... you can go through them with bombs or doorways, so As we see right here, he's getting around that meat block. So that's probably one of the best spots for a meat block to have in second quest. Oh, sorry, with a second quest sort of overworld and the money issues that you may have.
You can get around the meat block, but you can't get around the wire block without a ladder.
That is true. So there's one of the blocks that you can have early on. The any key helped him find that out, but he got an item out and an item that is going to help him keep progressing no matter where that wooden sword is. Maligord is more on the hunt for that wooden sword immediately. Wrong sword. What's going on here?
Now, all the way in the dead end of the dead woods, we have another dungeon.
Yeah, and this is an interesting layout. This could be 7, could be 5.
I would say, given the entry point and being able to go straight down, would lead me to say this is 7.
Yeah, it's definitely not 5 anymore. And yeah, this might be 7. You might be right. Ooh, Maligord had a nice little clip there going, but unfortunately ran into his own fire source and got bumped out. Bombs in the seat are 31 on chessjerk's side, we see. That is not a great price for bombs in this overworld. He is trying to get that clip. It's really difficult without using any sort of buffer. You need to, it's the same as a screen scroll. It needs to be pixel perfect and a 1-frame input on the D-pad. There he goes. He gets it and is rewarded with a transport staircase. Womp womp.
And it does take him across the dungeon. Unfortunately, shutter-doored in with a bunch of Wizros and Stalfos shooting some swords.
Yeah, that's not where you want to be equipped as he is. So, rightfully so, I think this is a good move to just bounce at that point and keep looking for your sword. chessjerk, meanwhile, checking out the take any roads around Hyrule. 2, one's okay, got him up to Death Mountain. 1 was right next door to where he started. That's not great.
Yep, Death Mountain, Dead Woods, and kind of the starting area, so all in all, not too awful. It looks like we found our first Take Any One cave, and he's going to elect to go ahead and start picking up some hearts. I think with all the second quest red bubbles, we see a lot more runners opt into potions a little bit earlier, but probably not before you get the white sword item found on your map.
Exactly, that's what I was going to point out, is that I think he's going to get stuff until he gets up to at least 5 items. And by the way, the book, I believe, was on the coast. Is that what you saw?
I did not see what was on the coast, but it wouldn't surprise me.
I think it was the book, so anybody that gets that ladder is going to get some nice, helpful hints their way, which we've already found one of those shops. But what I was going to say is I do agree that I think these players are going to pick up heart containers on those choose any you want until they get up to maybe 5 or 6 and or know the white sword item to make sure that they want it. So yep, here goes CJ picking up a second heart container. And I think he might leave one of those take any's for a potion if he wants to grab it. I'd be surprised if he took all 4 heart containers.
Yep. And again, the reason why the potion is a bigger play in this particular enemy set is because red bubbles can only be cured by a handful of things, whether it be saving your game outright instead of continuing, finding a fairy fountain, finding the Triforce piece, or chugging a potion. And you don't always want to leave the dungeon, so having the potion on hand is usually a smart play.
Absolutely. I 100% agree that a potion is a much bigger deal when red bubbles are in play, because there's really nothing worse than being in level 9 and you're trying to find Ganon, you get hit by a red bubble, and then 2 rooms later you can't get uncursed and get locked in Ganon's room. That's like the worst feeling in these flags. So having that potion to just take that away and being able to damage things again is invaluable.
Yep, looks like we found the second hint shop in the forest, and it was, I think, 74 rupees combined to get all 3 of them. So with the book on the coast and with both hint shops found, we may actually see that book come into play if we find the ladder.
Yeah, that's true. So in total, that's going to be about 160, because I believe the other ones were about 90, maybe 100-ish. So 160, 170 range for all of the hints if they want it. The good news is that at least both of them are actually not too far away from the starting location. Maligord finds a level here.
It could be level 1 with you kind of entering on the right side.
I was thinking this might be 3, but we'll see. Nope, it's not 3. This might be 1. Yeah, you might be right.
It's an early guess, but
I think it's looking more like 1 now that I saw that room below. Which is a great level to find, especially when you have the any key.
And of course, he's going to find every key drop that's sitting there on the floor ready to go.
See how these guys roll. Okay, they are not super high, so he can kill them with the bomb. And yeah, unfortunately, that room that he is in right now, I call it the maze room, that actually will not drop inside of any level that is not level 4. So that room clear, unfortunately, was never going to yield him anything.
It looks like none of what we need is on the bottom half of level 1. With the exception of one room, I think all the items are already standing on the floor.
Yep. And CJ is inside of level 1, but he is equipped with a wand, so he can start clearing all these rooms that Maligord can. And we see that the Keist room down in the south was the Triforce room. So Maligord cannot clear that out, most likely with only a candle and 1 bomb. He's going to have to get really lucky with the combo of the Keist need to roll low or average, and he needs to group them up really nicely.
Yeah, even though those land malls aren't moving as fast as the blue ones, they still play gatekeeper to that door.
Yep, and they pack a punch when you only have 3 hearts. Look at this, 3 hearts versus 7 hearts and a wand. This is not looking great for Maligord's start. Just missing that early wand in level 2 and still hasn't found a solid weapon to be able to repeatedly use. CJ's going to go ahead and clear this room to pick up the Triforce and most likely go back into level 1 for the 2 items here.
Yep, definitely think that's a smart move given that you're all the way down the bottom of 1 and there's nothing left down there for you. Just take the Triforce and go back in.
Yeah, and that's a small thing that it might be different for different runners if you notice what he did there. He knew where the Triforce was, and so his first instinct is, I'm going to go clear rooms on the way to the Triforce and see if item rooms pop up. My god, look at this.
Well, if he didn't have the early advantage yet, he certainly does now, as the ladder is the floor item in 1.
That is ridiculously big for multiple reasons, and the biggest reason is that Maligord noped out of level 1 already, and it was right on the ground.
Hey.
And wow.
Well,
wow.
The bow is in its vanilla location once, so now we're just a silver arrow away from potentially already being in go mode.
Yeah, that is nuts. That CJ has found the ladder, the any key, the bow, and now the book, along with a ranged weapon, before Maligord has found anything except for the any key. This is very unfortunate on Maligord's side, and we're gonna have to figure out where that wooden sword is, and whether this is gonna be a hard comeback here already. It's only 14 minutes in, but that is a definite big advantage on chessjerk's side. Anyways, what I was saying about CJ in his way going through level 1 is that it's a great plan to go towards the Triforce to see if you run into any item rooms, rather than sort of try to make the Triforce room your last spot, explore everything else on your way, which I know some runners do, and that can just eat up time. So I think it's the smarter play to go straight for the Triforce and see what you might happen into and then come back in only when you have to.
Thankfully, though, Maligord does find the wood sword over by vanilla level 6.
Since you're getting the step over the water to reach the book hint.
Some people wanted that taken out, but I quite enjoyed it.
Well, we know that the magical boomerang is ladder blocked, so that's not great. Sail not to save the princess, though. That is informative. No raft is going to be required to beat this seed.
Yep, I think he's probably just going to go down to the forest tin shop now. Why not?
Yep, he's got the money right now. He hasn't found the big secret. I don't think. I don't remember seeing him get that, so I think he will just prefer to buy these right now and really press that advantage that he has with the book right now. All right. Level 5 has the raft. No need to get the item in 5. Probably no need to enter 5 now.
Looks like level 4 was a recorder. And it's ladder block.
Okay. That could mean a whole host of things, but one thing, at least on the overworld, is that could mean it's on the River Row, as you might call it, just south of the vanilla white sword location. That's a possibility for that level, or it could mean that you need to step over some water to get inside of level 4 to get that recorder, which may or may not be needed. We'll have to find out. Level 9 could be housing... the recorder could be housing level 9, or a level where the... a level or the white sword item to where the silver arrows are.
Yep, and chessjerk also went ahead and went back to the shop with the wood arrows. Given that he has the bow in hand, it's not surprising that he wanted to pick that up in case he runs into a Goma block.
Yeah, or Pole's voice very easily taken down with the arrow compared to everything else. So yeah, I didn't see where Maligord entered this dungeon, unfortunately, but Chad is pointing out that he might be in level 3 here.
Yep.
And I apologize that I did not see him go down that staircase, which he obviously should have, to see what item he picked up. But he does have the sword as well. I was looking at chessjerk's side for the hints, and I think Maligord picked up the sword on there, and I'm not sure where that sword was.
Yeah, the wood sword was Vanilla's 6 cave.
Okay.
I'm not sure. It must not have been an important item in there. He has a 5th heart now, so potentially that. But I'd have to go look at it again.
He got a heart container. I think that's what Chad is saying. So we'll put the heart container down for level 3, as Maligord is kind of going towards the Death Mountain play a bit earlier than what most people might do, and he does get rewarded with a level here. Let's see what this might be. With the dungeon numbers hidden to us, it's a detective's game, especially when you are you're entering at different points in the dungeon than you would normally in the vanilla game. So it's kind of hard to decide what dungeon they're in early on.
Now, this one looks to be our ladder-blocked recorder dungeon, though, to me. So it looks like the bottom of 4.
So it was in Death Mountain, so it's not ladder blocked yet.
Yep, but we got a hint on chessjerk's side that the
Absolutely,
recorder
yep.
dungeon, which was level 4.
True. Here we go. We might see it immediately here with the... Nope, we're not going to see it immediately. Never mind.
So unless this... He's going to try and bomb up, but this is definitely level 4. And unless the Triforce is on the bottom side, there's not much that he can do in this dungeon.
And Eat My Steel asks in chat, did they find 9 yet? I don't believe so. I have not seen level 9. So yeah, Maligord's unfortunately going to have to nope out of this dungeon, not having the resources to really get much of anywhere in there. He's going to continue searching the Death Mountain area.
Yep, this is one of those plays I think some runners will opt to make when they feel like they're behind a matchup, because Death Mountain kind of is the make or break play as far as overworld exploration goes. Some opt to go into dungeons that normally others wouldn't go in, such as level 7, but the safer play is usually the overworld clearing.
Yeah, Death Mountain just eats a lot of resources, resources that you might need earlier on for dungeons, and so it's not usually a play that people make, and it's kind of out of the way for a lot of things that you would do with open caves early on. All right, Maligord's going through his take any caves, sorry, any roads.
So like Stom in chat's pretty convinced we found a Silver Arrow White Sword hint being at the grave.
Yeah, that must have been possibly inside a level that chessjerk was in, because it wasn't in the 6 hints, as far as I know, that we saw on his side, and I might have just missed something that he saw inside of a level. Or from, actually from a overworld. He probably saw it from the overworld that said a character houses the silver arrows at the grave. So that is leaning towards the recorder block in the graveyard, because I believe Maligord has checked the other ones. Yeah. CJ finds the level that Maligord found earlier, which I believe we said might have been level 7.
Yeah, it felt like level 7 because of being able to go out and down from the starting room. The only other one that I think it could have been was level 3, but since we have found that on Maligord's side, we know it can't be that.
Yes, indeed.
So silver arrows are either push blocked or recorder blocked in the grave, most likely, given the exploration both runners have had.
Yeah, so this is an interesting play for Maligord of kind of where does he go from here. He's going to open up some of the forest. He buys some bobs. That's pretty smart play right now, but hasn't made much headway on this seed, and he probably knows it, and it's 23 minutes in going up against an opponent like CJ. We were talking about it, that Death Mountain play might have been more of a hope that something really important is up here, but hasn't been found yet. CJ still is swordless, but making pretty decent headway through the levels that he's found, even with just that wand.
Yep, I think even though Maligord can't see where chessjerk is at, he's probably extremely hopeful that the power bracelet is actually the required item to find the silvers, not the flute. Because if the flute spot houses the silver arrows, it's not over, but it's very close to being over already.
And unfortunately, we won't. We should know that the flute is the required for the silver arrows, based on what Maligord has checked. I guess you're saying that in the you're right, in the graveyard there is that one spot that is the power bracelet spot. My apologies.
No problem. It's just going to take chessjerk finding level 4 up on Death Mountain, and once he finds that with the ladder, I would suspect he'll dig that, knowing what he's about to find out after he gets his wood sword and these last 2 spots checked, or 3.
Yeah, and Maligord actually opted to take a potion this early. He's got 6 hearts, so he can get the white sword item. but opts to get that potion earlier than maybe some people would have. But I like that play, actually. You got a lot of dungeons to explore, and we mentioned those red bubbles. Lime Juice actually asks in chat, why do they clip into the tree to burn it? That is because that is the only way to burn that bush without leaving the screen and going around. The way your candle works is if you try to stand next to that bush and push your candle over, your candle will go right past that bush and not open it. The only way to do it otherwise is to go around to the other side of the screen, open up the burnable bush there in the forest, and then walk all the way back around. It takes a lot of time. So if you just clip into the bush, you actually have the distance to get your candle to land on the bush.
It looks like this yellow dungeon's shaping up to be 8 at the moment, given where his staircase took him. So that's the likely story for the dungeon that is down here in the graveyard bomb spot.
You said that this level that CJ's in was the graveyard bomb spot?
Correct, even though now I'm going to change my mind because there's a key door there. Changes it to 5 pretty quickly.
You gotta love it. This is exactly what I do on my tracker. Is put something down and then be like, nope, that's not right, and erase it and put something else. And I was like, nope, that's not, my mind's changed. Usually I just stick a big L on there to say, it's some level. I have no idea what.
Yep, usually I'm pretty good with it, but there are a couple of dungeons that kind of run together, and making an early judgment call on it can sometimes backfire.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, I think this is 5. He is moving through as swiftly as he can. Those arrows coming into play right here. Maligord is in 1, and if he can get through, he will find his ladder right on the ground and get his bow right after. So Maligord behind by a little bit, but making a good play into level 1.
Yep, it's the right play for him, but this would give me a pretty sick to my stomach feeling if I dug level 1 at this point and saw 2 big items like that in there. Because at 27 minutes, you gotta figure CJ's found that already.
Yeah, and it wasn't hard to get to. Oh, Maligord. Oh no! Wow, that was closer than it probably needed to be. He could have left the room and come back in, but he said, "Nope, I'm just gonna do this right now. We're just gonna kill this land mola."
Yeah, the thing with the Lamb Mola is, I believe their direction is impacted. At least the blue Land Mola's direction is impacted by the turns you're making with your character.
Yeah, they are. They are like most characters, or most enemies, affected by Link's movement and position inside of the room that you're in. There is a sort of Link anti-Link positioning for how the enemies move. Very, very interesting. Very hard to manipulate, but there are certain ways that you can do that.
Yep, the most important, I would think, on the Land Mola front would be knowing the 1 pixel on the right doorway that you can utilize and kind of turning around the doorway to kind of get them to come over to you to kill them.
Yeah. So Maligord is in the room with the bow, I believe. He just picked up his ladder. That is great. And once he finishes off this gel, he is going to get his bow. Chessjerk has picked up the Triforce in level 5 here, but I don't believe we have seen the item, so he might go right back in. The reason is that... Actually, he's not going to go right back in. He knows that it's the raft and doesn't need to actually get that.
Yep, he took 1 look just to make sure that it was in fact 5 and said, nope, I'm out. And the other old man giving him the old news already that the magical sword is in fact over on the coast side.
Yep. And I believe CJ is now entering level 3, if I recall correctly. and this is something that Maligord has already done. It contains a heart container, so he's just collecting Triforces now. And it's going to be very interesting because he's found a couple of levels, can complete his Pentaforce and 5 Triforces. We still haven't found level 9. We still haven't found that those silver arrows, which are recorder blocks. So he will need to find more dungeons and start digging. But do you go into 9 looking for the recorder, or do you try to search more overworld to see if you can find other dungeons that it might be in? It's going to be a good question that chessjerk will have to answer soon.
Yep, he did sort of venture out of the way down level 3 to give Maligord a little bit of time, but he did up an egg in that compass, and it did lead him towards the item, which is the heart container, as we already confirmed. So that puts him 1 away from Magical Sword. While I don't think it's something that he necessarily is considering at this point, with it being on the coast and not being that far away from start, would you consider it if you had to up an A and save at any point?
Well, it wasn't. Yeah, I don't think it was too far from the starting location. So if that is a thing that he's going to up an A, or he finds himself back in that area and he has 10 hearts, there's really no harm in checking it. You wouldn't really want to go out of your way at 10 hearts, though, especially with a wand in hand. Kind of helps your damage output already.
Yeah, I think wood sword versus white sword impacts a lot of whether or not I would go back to a magical sword, even if it's in a somewhat easy to find location.
Oh, absolutely. If I had the white sword in CJ's position, and it was 10, if I was at 10 hearts, I wouldn't check it unless I was literally on the screen. All right, so go ahead.
Yep, CJ is probably about 2 screens away from level 4 if he takes traditional route to it. So will Maligord be able to find the Triforce in level 1 within the next couple of minutes and kind of progress in the same path that chessjerk took?
Yeah, what he really needs to do, he doesn't have the hints yet, but what he really needs to do is get back into level 4 and pull that recorder out as quickly as possible. The longer he delays that, the more advantage chessjerk is going to have here. And it's going to be kind of a harder play to do. He knows that the book's on the coast. He's found hint shops. So it's a matter of, does he go do the hints? Got 155 rupees. Does he go do the same thing that chessjerk did earlier and then kind of put the pieces together that he already found level 4? That's going to be the play here.
Yeah, well, the hints in this case would be particularly useful because of the cave that housed the white sword item's location and what it was. I do believe Maligord's already checked that area, though, so he's not likely to find the silver arrows hint. I agree.
So it's more of, does he go to 4 and pick out the item, knowing that the recorder here is much more powerful in this second quest overworld. And with all of the things he's already checked, he knows he's missing level 9. He knows he's missing the white sword item. That recorder is kind of screaming importance.
Yep, I definitely think he'll dig level 4 for the recorder. I just wonder how long it'll take him to go back to the graveyard with it.
Yeah.
So as we're about a half hour into this seed, we'll go ahead and give the item rundown just in case you're joining us a little bit late. Level 1 had a ladder and bow, level 2 had the wand, level 3 had the heart container, level 4 had the recorder, level 5 had the raft. Don't have 6, 7, 8, or 9 items at this point in time. We have a hint that's told us that the silver arrows are the white sword item and they are in the graveyard, presumably either recorder or power bracelet blocked. Magical key was the Armos item that we found right off the bat, and book was on the coast, and both runners have it at this point, I do believe.
Yep, and Maligord actually finds a level up near Spectacle Rock. I don't believe we have seen either runner enter this right now. This could be level 8, could be level 6 for right now. I'm not sure based on this. Actually, I think it's streaming more 8 here.
Yep, too far over to the right to be level 6, definitely level 8.
So 2 items in here. Also 1 transport staircase. And Maligord has found the transport staircase. He's going to take these to just kind of eliminate the other side as he moves along. Does find a room of blue bubbles. That's actually a welcome sight.
It looks like Maligord actually didn't pick up the book yet because he's still got the hints, community hints. So that's going to hurt a little bit since he's already found one old man that could have told him the location of perhaps level 9.
Perhaps. Yeah, it was out of the way for him a little bit. I don't blame him for not going there yet. Meanwhile, chessjerk has found his recorder in level 4, and we're going to see fairly shortly if that is what is required for those silver arrows. I imagine chessjerk is probably going to figure that out. I don't know if he'll clear out the rest of Death Mountain area. On Death Mountain is an entrance to death, though. There's our level 9 hint.
Yep, and I think it has to be on Eastern Death Mountain or the Power Bracelet spot on the West Death Mountain at this point, given what the runners have checked.
Yeah, and we do see the red candle in level 8. Maligord decides not to pick that up. That's actually kind of curious that he doesn't have the wand yet, so he doesn't have really a ranged item. Kind of interesting that he would not pick up the red candle there. I would probably pick it up just for a ranged item. I can understand if CJ passes it up.
Yeah, I'll call the red candle runner's choice, basically. I don't see why you wouldn't pick it up, but if you're not necessarily worried about range damage at this point, then I guess it's just your choice. He's got it.
Yeah,
arrows.
It's still the red bubbles, and that gives you a weapon even when you're cursed. So that's the only reason I would pick it up at this stage if I was in Maligord's position. Maligord finding another staircase though. CJ's finished off level 4, and he knows where the silver arrows are. And he knows that level 9 is in the area as well. The only thing he might be missing is a power bracelet, and we're going to find that out right now. Maligord finding the boomerang and also says nope to that as well. I could potentially agree with that as well, but again, it's another ranged item with plus or minus 4 HP enemies here. It might not be a bad thing to pick up another ranged item. And the first entrance with the whistle proves unfruitful. There is this spot down here that chessjerk is going to as well that is still considered part of the grave. If this does not open, if this does not contain the silver arrows, then we know it is power bracelet blocked. Oh, baby.
Yep. So, level 6, level 7, which is Redbird's favorite level, or you're going to be required to double dip level 9.
Oh, what are you hoping for? Where's your money?
I'm hoping for level 7.
I'm gonna say level 9. I kind of like a double dip on these flags. Gets the blood rushing. So yeah, that was actually more than likely that is probably a lifeline for Maligord. So I believe like CJ is back in level 2, is that correct?
Yep. He's going to pick up the easy Triforce that's sitting there in the Chevy room.
Yeah, and then here comes the case here, is that he knows that level 9's on Death Mountain. He'll probably find level 8 before finding level 9. I would dig 8 for the 2 items, knowing that you need the power bracelet. I dig 8 for the 2 items, and then if you found level 9, would you go into level 9 right now, knowing if you didn't find level 8, which you won't, then you have the 50-50. You go into 9? You said you hope it's at 7, but I'm asking what you would do as a player.
I would go into level 9 until it depends on whether or not he finds level 6 somewhere along the way too, I suppose. Mm-hmm. My play would probably be to go to 9, confirm Zelda's location, confirm Ganon's location, and ideally find one item of the 2 along the way, At that point, if I have that amount of information, then the play becomes less fruitful depending on how many rooms I have left.
That sounds like a solid decision. I like that. That's with these important items in 9 like this. I'm always an advocate of go into 9 and search what you can. Hopefully, you find an item, but you're gonna have to sniff out Zelda and Ganon anyway. So it doesn't hurt to go in there when you can. So CJ tried at the magical sword since he was in the area, and 10 hearts was not enough. CJ picking up another heart container. It's kind of curious. I don't think... Does he have a potion yet? I can't remember if he picked up a potion. I'll have to look.
I do not believe he's found a letter, and I don't think he's found the 4th take any one shot yet, so I would think the answer is no.
Yeah. That's interesting. With all that... I mean, he might want the... a big... Like, maybe he's valuing that a shot at the magical sword is more important than a potion is to him right now. That'd be the only thing I could see with picking up that heart container there. Which is a huge offensive upgrade, so I can't blame him.
Yeah, just to answer a question, Chad, a little bit of technical difficulties on the tracking side. He does know that level 7 has been found, picked up. Or CJ's at least picked up his 5th Triforce, and Maligord's also picked up his 3rd out of level 8, excuse me, not level 7.
Yep, and Maligord finally got his book on the coast. We'll see if he... he's going to find level 2 here. We'll see if he goes back for any hints. If he's marked correctly and wants to revisit certain areas to maybe figure out about that white sword item. As we mentioned, it's probably not likely. It's something that I wouldn't mark down early on. So CJ's about to find level 8, and like you said, I'll be surprised if he bails out of here.
Yep, given that he knows it's Power Bracelet blocking his way, I would be really surprised. And of course, it looks like he may be going against the commentators here.
We are surprised.
So he's banking on level 9 having the Power Bracelet and having a required double dip at this point. The funny little bit here is that we do have 2 Power Bracelet spots up on Death Mountain. Never mind. Never mind.
There's level 9, and he is going in, so he is all in on the level 9, saying, I think this is where the Power Bracelet is, and this is the right play for me.
Yep. If he doesn't find level 9 and it happens to be in level 7 like I hope, he definitely is going to go level 8 first. He will not go level 7 first.
Yeah. There would be no reason to go all the way towards level 7 for one item. We did hear the pig on chessjerk's side. The roar is there. So Ganon is very close to start of the dungeon, but he is going to take staircases immediately.
Yep, looks like Ganon's either going to be up or to the right of the 4th room that he entered, going up that little first initial direction. Given that his staircase led him to the left.
Uh-huh. And just to inform chat of what's going on right now, we know from hints, and chessjerk does too, that the silver arrows are Power Bracelet blocked in the grave, and chessjerk is on the hunt for the Power Bracelet, which in this flag set is an important item that can be inside of level 9. Ganon has been found, at least heard. We don't have necessarily a path to him yet, but has been heard, and he is still on the hunt for 2 items here in level 9. Meanwhile, Maligord has picked up his Triforce and item out of level 2, and I'm not sure where he's going to exactly go from here. We'll just have to see.
If I were him, it would be in any road to head towards Death Mountain, probably.
I wouldn't be surprised if he went for the hints as well. He's got only 53 rupees, though. I don't think he picked up the hints, or maybe I missed that. Sorry if I did.
Oh, but looks like he went straight for wood arrows and did not have the money. And we have the bloomerang, or the blue banana, in level 9, so there's one item down.
That is not what you want to see. There are quite a few items that chessjerk, without being the power bracelet, there are quite a few items that he'd still welcome. A white sword, a red ring. Seeing the bloomerang is not a good thing.
All right.
chessjerk is clearing out these rooms with one shutter door to see if he has located Zelda as he's making his way through more staircases here in level 9, trying to find that second item. A lot of these stairs kind of keeping him in the southwest. Go ahead.
So the real question is when he finds the shutter door, what will chessjerk do?
Yeah, it really depends on when he finds that. If he found it right now, it makes a bigger decision. And he has the compass now. So there it is, like that shutter door or not. He knows where Ganon is, approximately. He knows where Zelda is. He knows one item in here. And he's still got over half the dungeon to explore. This is going to be a test.
Yeah, I don't think there's a real right or wrong answer here, but...
No, I agree. This is just choice.
Yeah, this is where the flags can either make you or break you, and you really have not much say over it. He has secured a path to Zelda now, though.
That is a good thing. And has a staircase just south of her.
And Ganon right below him as well. So he's got the trifecta on that one.
Does find another transport staircase. This one taking him still in the northeast, hoping to get out of here. Does find the bomb hole. Meanwhile, I believe Maligord is back inside of level 4, if I'm not mistaken. I didn't see where he entered, but yeah, this is level 4. Okay, so he's going to find the recorder, which is not going to be of any use to him.
Well...
that we know of, yet, so far.
Yeah, I was going to say...
We haven't found level 6, right?
You have either a flute block level 6 or potentially a dig dogger block of a staircase somehow, some way. But yeah, true. Unlikely at this point.
Only in level 7 or level 6, you're right.
Still hoping that 6 is also power bracelet blocked, and that's in level 7.
You just want all the cruelty, don't you?
I like seeing runners have to face the dilemma of level 7. Especially because I saw Staphos with the swords and Wizrobes in there.
Alright, so CJ is up and A-ing and trying to get a different path here on level 9, as Maligord is definitely searching for that item in here, and Triforce to try to keep his progression going.
Yeah, if 6 sends up power bracelet block, please have the red ring.
And we get a staircase here on chessjerk's side that we have not seen before. Just another transport. And it just takes him to the other side of Ganon.
So that's at least 4 staircases, if not 5, for transport. So
yeah, that is a lot.
Either down to 3 or 5 staircases left that he can enter that he hasn't found the other side of. So could be close to finding a second item at this point.
All right, so yeah, it's hard to commentate on anything. I'm just watching here with anticipation to see when CJ does find that magic staircase that he needs to find to get this second item and see where he needs to next progress. Still, Maligord did pick up the wand. And there's the second item at level 9.
So that leaves the dream alive. Will he have to go to level 8? I think so.
Yeah, the play you have to do is go to that level. I would be, again, very, very, very surprised at this point now that he wouldn't dig out level 8 here. But a White Sword is a welcome addition to his arsenal. It's going to help him out in clearing more dungeons, but that's not what he wants to see.
Yeah, and I'm not just trying to root for the scenario that makes it the most difficult. I'm also rooting for a scenario in which we get this race a little bit closer between the two runners, and certainly with this happening, it's gonna give Maligord some time before chessjerk finds both items in 8.
Yeah, but the bigger decision that Maligord is going to have to make is, does he make the same decision that chessjerk did and go into level 9 right now, or does he dig other dungeons before going in there? Basically, will he get an advantage over chessjerk in time? We'll have to figure out.
I could be wrong, but I think the hint for level 9 wasn't level 4, so he likely found it. And seeing as he still has a blue potion left in his hands, I'm not surprised he took a heart container.
Yeah, he used a potion in level 4 there, and I believe you're correct that it was his level 9 hint was in level 4. I'm not sure if he actually saw it or not, but it was in there. CJ finding the red candle?
Yep. First item a disappointment. Just wait until he finds the second one. And then we have kind of the dilemma of, do you search out 6 hoping not to have to dig level 7, or do you go to where you already know exists?
I know that I would go to where I already know exists, because level 6 could be power bracelet blocked, which could be in 7. I think the thing of just going through level 7 kind of counterweighs the searching of level 6 and going through level 6. That's just my take on it.
I'm not sure how much of an easy path he has to level 7, but outside of that flute spot between level 7 and the any road, I think I would have to make the same play, go to 7.
chessjerk down to half a heart again. Full clench strats.
Not anymore. He nopes out of that blue Korea room.
Hookshot John is asking, they found 7. Where is it at? They have found it. It is down in the very southwest corner of the overworld in the open cave. David asks, why do people hate 7 so much? Because outside of level 9, it has the most rooms of any level, and it only houses 1 item. That's why we hate it.
It just depends on who you are. Some people hate level 7 because people refer to it as the 33 rooms of X. Some people hate it because they don't want to have to dig 1 item out and have to go through potentially all the rooms. Some people actually prefer to dig it because they believe that's the easiest way to win a race, is if the item's there and everybody else hates it.
Yeah, that's an advantage sometimes if you play the man and not the odds kind of thing. That is the same reason that somebody might do Death Mountain a lot earlier in their play, to try to get something that an advantage of some kind.
Yep, it's kind of one of those know your limitations, and if you're concerned that you don't have an easy way to beat your opponent, maybe make a play that they otherwise wouldn't. It looked for a second like Maligord was actually going to go to level 7, which would have been really interesting.
I thought that too, but he's just checking all of his overworld spots that he missed before. CJ is still trying to find the second item inside of level 8. It won't be too far from him for right now.
He got trapped on that side, unfortunately, couldn't leave the roof, so just had to fight his way through it all.
I believe if he keeps going up, he's going to find the staircase here. There's the spiral, yep. Alright, so now comes the dilemma that we were talking about. Maligord has not found level 9, but he should know that it's in Death Mountain. Magical Sword is over near... It's in the northeast, in the Lost Hills here. Chessjerk could check it, which he might be going to do that right now. But now CJ has that dilemma of, do I clear some more overworld to find level 6, or do I just go into level 7? And the Magical Sword says, nuh-uh, at 12 hearts.
So we got either a max roll or one short of max roll on that. That's always fun.
Yeah, but he's armed with that white sword. He's really not in bad shape here.
And why would he do it, you ask? Well, he's going to take the indie road, and he is going to make a play similar to the commentators, I think.
Yeah, I think I strongly agree with this play. Whether it's the right play or not, I strongly agree with what he is deciding to do.
Yep, super hopeful that this was level 6 randomly, but it was not.
Yeah, why not check it?
So this will be an item that he will want to see regardless. It's just a question of whether or not it'll be the ultimate defense or the ticket to the silver arrows.
Yep.
Although I do think if it's a red ring, it'll set off just a little bit of panic, because after starting so quickly, it's slowed way down afterwards.
Yeah, you got to be a little nervous. Like, if you found it in here, it's something that somebody might dig, but you feel a bit better finding the power bracelet, which was required here in level 7, than you would still having to go out and search level 6.
Yeah, this is a good question, Check. Why not pick up Triforce number 8, or Triforce in level 8, excuse me, knowing that it's right next to level 9? I think it's just trying to get to the next dungeon as fast as possible because he's a little bit concerned, personally.
Yeah, it's really not a bad idea, but sometimes in the moment right here, CJ probably just has a one-track mind, is, I need to find the power bracelet. Everything else is not on my mind. And it's really hard to, like, focus on everything that's, like, we're very objective here and seeing both things and seeing everything. It's very easy for us to be objective and whatnot. Maligord finds a new level, I believe, and this should be level 6.
It's in the forgotten spot, and it could have what we're looking for too, so...
This is
all
exciting.
Of a sudden, it's still going to be an adventure to find the silvers if the power bracelet's in here, but all of a sudden we're getting a little bit interesting until he leaves.
I was getting to the edge of my seat, and now I'm sitting back because he is making the same play that CJ made, I think, and he's going to try to go into level 9 when he finds it, and search out those items first. And I can't blame him on that play.
No, given his information that he has, not a bad play. I think perhaps he could metagame if he had found the silver's hint. That maybe it's in level 6 because chessjerk hasn't done. But without that information, not a bad play.
Yeah.
Just won't work out.
Yeah, And I really think it is boiling down that he didn't get the book early enough to get that hint that silver arrows are not in here, and that they're power bracelet blocked.
Yeah, and it's hard to blame him specifically on that one because he had a nope out of level 1 on 3 hearts facing Land Moa.
And he didn't have that wand advantage, so it really came down to getting that bomb drop, which they both actually did, but CJ finding level 2 and getting that early wand helped propel him ahead in this race to finding the items that he needed to keep his momentum going. And Maligord has made an okay comeback here, but it's looking like it might not be enough, depending on how quickly he can find these items in level 9 and get out of dodge.
Yep. chessjerk's getting beat around just a little bit in this level 7. That staircase room leads you to those Wizrobes and Stalfos that we were talking about earlier, and that's just not fun, even with the amount of hearts he has on Green Tunic.
Yep, and now he has to go back in with 3 hearts and try to face some more Wizrobes here.
I would think CJ's tracking well enough at this point to not forget the Forgotten Spot. It's just somewhere he hasn't been able to route yet. To answer that question yet.
Yeah, and that is it's called the Forgotten Spot for a reason, and you just hit the nail into the coffin there, and hit the nail on the head. And I wouldn't say I mixed up my metaphors there. That it's a really odd thing to route in if you don't have the right resources at the right time. And so, yeah, he just hasn't gotten around to it.
Yeah, because the meta's shifted, in my opinion, a little bit to finding the Armos item first. And if you find it first, it's typically when you don't have many items, maybe not even a sword yet. And if you route those caves out of your way that are open, it kind of makes that screen wrap on that bomb spot less attractive, so you tend to go up and through the lower part of Eastern Death Mountain. And I think that's the reason why so many people leave that Forgotten Spot for so long.
Yeah, CJ is still looking for this item in level 7. Unfortunately, he gets shutter blocked in a room full of blue Wizrobes in the corner. He is not even going to waste the time to try to clear that out, and just going to up an A and start over again. Maligord still searching through level 9. Don't believe he's found either item quite yet, but doing a pretty good job of clearing rooms, trying to get where he needs to go. Remember, CJ had to take about 5 or 6 of the transport staircases to find both items.
And he finds the hint for the item in level 8, which would have been a little bit nicer to have earlier, but...
Yeah, that's not what you want to see at this juncture. I'd stab that old man. Come on, CJ.
On the bright side, he didn't tell him where level 7 was.
Man, this tip of the nose might have the secret inside of this level 7 as well. Does get a nice bomb upgrade for his troubles, though. He's not going to spend his money on anything else, so why not? This cannot be the item room. It's got a shutter door.
Yep, and he decides to get in the room, stop facing one direction, and got pretty lucky with the way that it played out there.
So yeah, this is more of a tip of the nose is where you gotta be, which is really unfortunate from where you started in level 7. Very, very deep. And here is the item. Here is the item room here.
It's actually...
What's it gonna be?
There's one room above that staircase room with all that nasty stuff, too.
Gross. Oh, baby!
Well, that's gonna give Maligord even more time.
I really wish we had a heart rate monitor going on chessjerk's side right now, because I guarantee that his beats per minute just went up about 20. And man alive, if only Maligord had searched through 6 before going to 9. He might have been still helpful. He might have still gone to 9, because again, he didn't have that hint, and he still got 2 items in there. He still could have gone to 9 thinking the silvers were in here. And remember, you do have he has the book, and you do have a hint, potentially, in level 9 to tell you where those silvers are. So CJ is going to make a way through the overworld with his recorder, and I can't imagine it's going to be too long before he'll get to the forgotten spot.
Yep. So the full item rundown one last time. Ladder bow in 1, wand in 2, heart container in 3, recorder in 4, raft in 5, power bracelet in 6, red ring in 7, 8 hedger, regular boomerang, and red candle. 9 had the magic boomerang and the white sword. Silver arrows are power bracelet locked in the graveyard. They're the white sword item. Magic key was Armos. Book was Coast.
Yep, and Maligord finds the first item, finds that boomerang, and he is continuing his dig, rightfully so. And I think CJ has exhausted his option, is now going towards that forgotten spot, equips the bombs, and here we go.
And that probably worries him even more, because that's an open cave from the perspective of...
accessible cave.
Yeah, from the perspective of early game, being able to find your way into it, it was there for you. So for all he knows, Maligord already has the power bracelet.
Yep. Yeah, when the alarms are going off that this was accessible the whole time. So far, from what we know, this was accessible the whole time. Thank you, old man. And the item to tell you where the silver arrows were was in a level that everybody's going to dig both items out of, because it was the ladder to get the book. So he's got to think that Maligord is either right with me or ahead of me. That's what he's probably thinking right now. Finds the transport staircase.
I think the only reason he couldn't pinpoint that is perhaps because Ganon and Zelda are so close together in level 9 that he probably would already be done if he found level 6's item. Or found the hint for the item. Oh, hey. I think we may already have the silvers, though.
Here.
Or the PB to get the silvers.
There it is. Not a very bad dig of 6 here. And yeah, Chad mentioning, CJ will pull this off. It's just a matter of what he's thinking and feeling right now is probably way different than what we are thinking and feeling right now.
Yep, unless for some miraculous reason Maligord grabs the white sword, goes straight to 6, and then goes straight to the graveyard push block spot, which is actually not that far away from level 6.
Yep, and there's the silver arrows. I mean, that's pretty much what he's probably going to do. He's found 6 and 7. There's no reason to go into 7 before going into 6.
Yeah, unfortunately it takes a death there. It's not completely out of the question that CJ dies to Ganon on 3 hearts and red ring, but it's a player of his caliber. He's not going to continuously die to him. He's only going to die maybe once before he pulls it off.
Yeah. With that red ring pickup is actually pretty big here.
Hey, we have a Maligord leaving level 9 and heading...
And he's going to 6.
Yep, heading in the general direction level 6.
The right play, it's just too late.
Yep, he's gonna make it a closer race than it was potentially a couple minutes ago.
That's true.
Because it shouldn't take him too long to find the power bracelet in this dungeon. It still requires him to take the chance on the power bracelet spot in the graveyard, which is pretty close to him, but...
Yeah, again, it's mentioned that he doesn't have that hint.
He does now know that Goma creeps by a lake.
That is important. in case he had Alzheimer's.
Yeah, it looks like we got a stun lock on chessjerk side, so maybe just a bit later.
Crisp stun lock. And gets the bomb hole north for an easy path. Look at this.
Yep, so we're going to get our GG's out for chessjerk, who's going to finish in first place in this race. Looks like his official SRL time is 1:09:53.
And that is a pretty good time on this flag set when you 100% the seed. He 100%ed it.
And Maligord unfortunately runs into the danger noodles again, taking another death. I'm a little surprised he didn't actually go one more room to the right down there. I'm not sure what blocked his path. But I do believe that's where this bracelet was in level 6.
And we'll see if we can get chessjerk in here for a quick post-game interview about his play and the seed and the tournament in general. So yeah, Maligord is in the right dungeon now, just needs to find that power bracelet and use it. It's not very far away from him to go search out that silvers, but he's still got a decent amount of overworld, I think, to clear, and he still has a dungeon as well that he could go to.
Yep, he has one flute spot left, I do believe, on the overworld. And he has, to my knowledge, 3 spots left that aren't power bracelet blocks. So, it's a question of whether or not he'll go back to 9 for the second item, go to 7, or go to the power bracelet spots.
Indeed. Let me see if I can get chessjerk in here. And there it is. We are joined by our winner of this match tonight, chessjerk. GG, my friend.
Thank you very much. How you doing?
Doing well. How are you doing?
Okay.
Okay. So I have one question at least.
Only one question? I'm shocked.
Only one question.
All right.
Only one question. I'll have some. I'll let you comment on a few things later, but I have one question. How much did your heart rate go up when you got the red ring?
I'm glad I don't have one of those heart rate trackers because I'm pretty sure I would have broken it.
See, I said I wanted one of those. Actually, I said it in the chat. I was like, I want to see his heart rate because I was pretty sure it went up about 20 beats per minute.
I'm thinking, am I seriously going to full clear 7 and not find the item I'm looking for? Why, game? Why would you do that to me? And why do they call the forgotten spot the forgotten spot? Oh wait, we just figured out why.
Yeah, and that's another sort of. I kind of want to know your thought when you found level 6 was the forgotten spot, which was accessible the entire time, and you found the power bracelet, which was also accessible the entire time, as far as I think I'm concerned with the layout of level 6. Were you even more nervous? How nervous were you going back into level 9 for your second time?
Quite, I would say. Quite nervous. Thinking, it was even worse when I found a staircase, 2 rooms into 6. I'm thinking, has the power bracelet really been 2 rooms into 6 this entire time? But that ended up not being the case. But still, it was very accessible the whole time, and oh look, and there's the hint in level 6 saying the red ring is in 7.
I was just going to say that.
Amazing.
That's actually good because Maligord has not dug level 7 yet.
And I'm sure he's not going to.
And he will not now, but he actually, with this, the way this played out, you had a big offensive early advantage that led you to the ladder and the book many, many minutes before Maligord did, and he already searched out the, take that power bracelet. And that he searched out the southwest, and before he had the book, so he actually, I don't think he doesn't know that the silver arrows are power bracelet blocked but now he knows that the silver arrows are somewhere on the overworld as the white sword item.
Oh, okay.
So
I was definitely debating when I saw the book, or when I got the ladder and the book was accessible, and thinking, okay, I know I have enough money to buy all the hints if I wanted to, but it's going to take a little bit of time. Normally, that's a good play, I would think, especially early on. Yeah. You want information as soon as possible. I was underwhelmed by most of the hints, because ladder blocks really don't tell you hardly anything unless they're talking about the coast items. So.
Yeah, I'm surprised you don't really like the hint for the book. I don't understand.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a thing. I don't know.
Yeah, that is one of the worst things you could see, and it was your first hint you got. So you basically thought, yeah, this is how these are going to go.
I hope no one was watching my stream because I gave it the one finger salute.
So, yeah, I think the biggest difference was pretty early on, and that was you both got bombs. Once you basically were side by side getting the any key and getting the candle, and you both got your first bomb drop, swordless. But you decided to go north first and open up level 2 and get your wand, and Maligord decided, I'm going to go through more open caves trying to find the sword. And he didn't go back. He didn't have a sword for a long time. And by that point, you already had gotten a huge advantage with the items that you had found. And it just wasn't enough of a comeback here. And Maligord, unfortunately, just did a lot of the same plays you did, which you cannot fault him for doing what he did with the information that he was given. But he did very similar plays, so any advantage that he was going to gain off of your 100% really didn't come into play.
Yeah, especially when you find wand in a dungeon early in a situation like that, it's gotta. I definitely felt ahead when I saw that. Mm-hmm. That's because I know that it was. I mean, I actually thought my route at the beginning was a little bit unusual. When I kept going back, and I was looking about 7 or 8 minutes in, thinking I've only done the northeast. I haven't done literally anything else yet. But I figured I got a candle and a wand out of it, so and knowing where a tringle was. I almost forgot about that too. I thought I already had the second tringle. I was like, oh, I should go back and get that at some point.
Yeah. Well, Maligord has picked up his silver arrows. He is back into level 9. He does know where Ganon is and has the compass as well, so he will be finishing up, and this won't be sort of as big as a gap as we thought it was going to be when you first entered level 9. By the way, chessjerk's time in SRL was 1:09:53. So it looks like Maligord is going to finish probably about 10 minutes behind that, but the time there is not telling of how close it was at one point, because Maligord did find level 6 before going into level 9, and had he found that hint that you did and actually dug 6 before going into 9, this could have been a way different story.
Indeed. I'm also wondering, why is it every single time I dig 9 for an item, I find all 6 staircases first?
That's the way it's got to be.
It's always got to be. And then the second item, I think that was like the only way into that little nook in that room. I think that was the only way into that room, which boggles my mind.
Yeah, it's usually how it happens. 9 is really big, and it likes to kind of send you on little wild goose chases. Unfortunately, Maligord doesn't have that red ring and only has a wooden sword. He took a Hyrule driver and went down for the count. He does have a potion, so I think we'll see him use it when he goes back in for the second time.
He should have dug 7 for the red ring. Obviously, digging 7 is always the correct play.
Digging all of level 7 is always the correct play.
I did not. There was one room left. The upper right corner.
Really I never went into that room. I was really disappointed that you didn't finish it off.
Did I get the heart container out of level 7? Maybe that's where it was.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't have the heart container. That would be pretty funny if the one room I didn't find was the heart container. Because you gotta have heart, Mm-hmm. I'm also wondering how many hearts Mags was, because I tried at 10 and 12 and didn't get it.
Yep.
I had 13.
And that's all we know.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, Maligord used his potion and took another death to Ganon. And not sure what he's going to do other than just go back up. Like, there's really nothing you can do at this point. Is just try again.
Ganon seems angry.
And unfortunately, yeah, you got to go through this Red Guerrilla room, or at least the way he's going, which I can't blame him. You have to go through this Red Guerrilla room every single time. They will respawn. So he's having to clear this room to get the shutter door to open. No heart drops this time. And we're in for Ganon round 3. Can Ganon get the TKO? And yep, 3 fireballs. And Maligord is down for the count. And this is what I mean. Again, it's so close to start. Like, you just gotta keep going for it. There's really no other play here.
Yeah, I would definitely just keep trying.
Yeah, I don't think
if he was really deep in the dungeon, I would consider like going back to a fairy fountain or something.
Mm-hmm.
He's only what 3 rooms in or something. So
yeah,
and the princess is practically right behind her too.
Yep,
right behind him.
He does have a bomb, so that's good. But I don't think he found the letter. I don't know if either of you did.
I'm pretty sure
I can't remember, but he doesn't have the money to buy it anyway, so...
I can't remember if I found it in my checking of all the recorder spots. I don't think I did. I'm assuming it's power bracelet blocked, or maybe it's on the raft spots.
Yeah, that's a possibility. We didn't get that raft, no need to.
I was having a problem in level 5. I kept thinking it was level 8 for some reason. I was getting confused, and then it was very weird. I don't know. I have no idea what I was thinking at the time.
Yeah, we saw you do a little bit of a movement past the Triforce, and then the realization that I don't need to get the item out of here.
I think I took the Tringle just to confirm it was level 5 because I still wasn't 100% sure.
Yeah. So Maligord has opted to be out of level 9 and the Ganon fight for right now. Going to get his refill at the ferry and flute his way back to level 8. So yeah, I'm trying to see if you have any other thoughts on this seed that you had tonight, chessjerk. I know we've talked about a few of the main points that have come up that made it quite exciting, but I don't know if there's anything else you wanted to point out.
No, nothing really comes to mind. It's that forgotten spot. It's called that for a reason. Usually I route it in too when I go. I guess because because the armor item was so accessible. Normally I go west if I'm still looking for the armor item, and I'll hit that spot on the way if I have a bomb.
Mm.
But this time my routing just never took me to that spot. And I never thought to check it. But yeah, besides that, I figured it was a classic double dip 9, but not meant to be this time.
That's what I was hoping for. I know my co-commentator Fury, who had to step away for just a bit. He was really hoping that the power bracelet was going to be in level 7, and I was kind of hoping it was going to be the double dip of 9. So you made the right play in my mind. And
you were both wrong.
We were both wrong, yeah. Ooh, Maligord taking a quick double driver and is down to 1 heart here in this Ganon fight again. And yep, there it goes again. It's really unfortunate. And this is what can happen on a green tunic, wood sword Ganon fight. It's not easy. It's not an easy thing.
It's not fun.
But chessjerk here is moving on into the winner's bracket, winning his first match of the bracket stage. Gonna face somebody else next. I'm wondering how you feel about that race that's gonna come up shortly.
I can't pronounce his name. Is it Random F? I don't know. I'm gonna need some help with that pronunciation.
I think that's right. We'll go with that.
Yeah. I've heard good things about this Random person, so it's I'm sure we're gonna have quite the epic battle.
Well, that's more than what I've heard, so that's great. Yeah, me and CJ always have some really good races, so that's gonna be very exciting, and it is one of the reasons I wanted to commentate this match tonight, because I think it's fun to see who you're gonna play as it unfolds. But yeah, me and CJ will get that scheduled at some point and put on a good show for you guys. Maligord unfortunately taking another death to Ganon, and is going to go back in for round, I think 6.
The real question is will Random Effect check the forgotten spot early in the next race?
That is the thing.
It never hits it twice. They want you to think that.
It never happens twice.
I'm diving to level 6, that's for sure.
I think every seed just have a 50-50 chance the red ring being in 7 just to taunt everyone. How badly do you want the red ring?
So here we go with Maligord just doing what he has to do. Plugging away.
Ganon is really angry that I took him out in the first try. He's so angry right now.
It's really unfortunate they found the boomerang instead of the white sword in level 9 with the first item they found.
Yeah, that's true. He hasn't found the second item here in 9.
Oh yeah, jeez.
He bounced out. Because he found that item, he found Ganon and Zelda, and decided that's not where he wanted to be.
I definitely felt lucky when I found the first item in 9, because it was tucked away all the way in the bottom left corner. I was very lucky when I found that, but still wasn't what I was looking for, so it saved me searching 20 or so odd other rooms. That was nice.
Yeah. There are some useful tips in the Zelda 1 Discord if you find your way to it, and one of those more recent updates to it was a tutorial on how to fight Ganon in specific patterns and in specific rooms. And that, I know, has helped me a lot ever since I had the Chevy room debacle, but it's one of those that can really take you from a new player to being able to kind of understand what's going on in that room a little bit quicker.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting to see, when the mod that actually shows him when he's visible. And it's really, I mean, the first time I saw that, I was baffled. He looked so weird, but the movement he makes, it makes so much sense.
Yeah, I remember. It's not to say Maligord's a newer player by any stretch. He's a player that's very frustrated and going at and just kind of smacking his head into a wall here, trying to beat him.
Yeah, I do remember when I was learning the vanilla game, watching that video that CJ had mentioned, and then I literally spent an entire day just fighting Ganon over and over and over again until I could predict his movements and get out of those sticky situations when things don't go according to the stunlock plan, or he spawns in a weird spot. How do you track him? And yeah, as Adaginos is pointing out in chat, the lower right corner is definitely not a safe spot in this room.
Well, I think he's getting baited a little bit by the fact that the spawn pattern starts him to where he's actually appearing in that bottom corner, but then he'll move usually back to his original spot. If you want to stun lock him, you got to move with him. That's the step that he's kind of missing here.
Nice early. Here it comes. Here comes the stun lock. He's got a good rhythm now. Let's go. Sick. Oh my no.
Uh-oh.
Oh my god.
It went from a perfect stun lock to Monka S to not like this.
Yeah, that was
brutal.
that was the time. He had a great stun lock down to the last hit.
So we not only have the TKO, now we got the double KO.
Yeah, that is. It's really hard to bear right there. You've already been fighting him like 7 or 8 times, maybe more, and you get down to the last hit. It's frustrating.
And now he's gonna get another fairly easy to hit pattern. Just can't get the stun lock this time. And once he loses that stun lock, he only has one chance with that fireball being fired off. Yeah.
Yep. And there, like I said, there's really not much more you can do, but just go back in. Just keep going. You'll get through.
Ganon must think, boy, he's resilient. He keeps coming back for more.
Alright, another good spawn, really close by. Yeah, that right side is just not. It's just not a safe spot. On the wall there, and it's just gonna, unfortunately, if he misses the stun lock, it's just gonna keep sort of happening over there. It's very difficult. But I can understand, like, it's harder to get back into position on the left-hand side based on where Ganon has been spawning, and not take a driver or a fireball on the way. He's getting a flute ready. Are you seeing this?
Yep, he's going to try a saber strat now, or Dave's poor attempt at a saber strat, depending on who you are.
Maybe it'll put him to sleep.
It might. I mean,
it's a good strat. I like it.
It certainly
takes a driver.
It's doable, but without pausing, it's considerably harder because he will tend to move.
Yeah, I think I actually tried to do these saber strats one time with the recorder and a really low-hearted wood sword cannon. I couldn't get the timing to work to my advantage. It was just easier for me to track Ganon a bit better. But I commend these recorder strats if you can pull them off.
Yep, it's definitely something you can do with a red ring and just take a bop here and there and make it easier on yourself. He's going to try it.
Here we go. Oh, he missed it. He missed the hit. But he's in the good corner, but unfortunately went up a little too high, and there's that driver.
Yeah, but you can see why the pause helps on that strategy, because he still moves when you blow the recorder. He just doesn't move very far.
Yep, and what that pause will do is trying to get your sword out on the earliest frames that you can before he moves out of your way. And unfortunately, it just looked like Maligord missed that frame window and had him move too much.
And a poor starting point. I think this is going to come down to when can Maligord get the ideal spawn pattern again. If he gets him right next to the doorway and hits him, he really had a good stun lock going. He basically had down to just that one hit.
Looks like he's like a half tile too close to the wall on the right side to try that to the right-hand side strat.
He is. If he really wants to do that right-handed side, he needs to be one tile in from the right-hand side and stay lower. That's what I would do if I was doing that side. Stay a little bit lower because you can always you can try to get him as he's coming down into you rather than coming down or from the side into you. Yep, and there's the double driver again. Unfortunately, we got on top of him. I think you're right. He's moving too far to the corners on both sides.
Yep, he's got to hit him. You can hit him over there. He's just got to make that move inward towards the center of the room a little bit if he's going to do that.
Yeah, with the Ganon fight, you really want to try to be on whole tiles. It's unfortunate that the room he's in is not tiled, so it is quite difficult to know that you're not on the whole tiles. I try to stay on the whole tiles if I'm running around and stabbing Ganon. It's easier to dodge his fireballs. But on this pattern of the room, it's really hard to judge that.
It's so annoying fighting Dark Knight or fighting Wizrobes in a desert room. It's tough to know if you're on half tiles or not.
For the same reason, yep.
And that time he just actually spawned over to the right. That's brutal.
I admire the resilience here. He's not giving up. He's gonna do it.
Yeah, I think with how close he was that first time, he knows if he can get that going again, he's got it. And based on what I've seen, it's just a question of can he... You'd rather be too late than too early on these swings at Ganon. If he can just keep his time a little bit slower, he'll be alright.
Yep, got a close spawn here.
Yep, this is the ideal start point, so let's see if he gets it.
Got it, but unfortunately mistimed his hit.
You gotta run now. It's just too high up.
Out of it. Okay, I'll buy it. Nice!
You can afford to drop some candles and some bombs there if you want to. Just leave it behind.
Yeah, a good burn. And he finds his path up. He just can't die in this room. I mean, he doesn't have to fight Ganon anymore.
Please don't die to the candle fire, please.
No!
Oh, the fairy.
The toying of the fairy on the screen. But this is fine, because he's already... Ganon's down. He's got the Triforce. It just needs to move up.
Yep, and he won't respawn because he left a room instead of up in an A, so nothing's really going to block his way once he gets through this room with at least 3 hearts. I think he'll be fine.
Alright, and the shutter door opens. He's got more than enough hearts to get through here this time. And get your GGs out in chat, really, for Maligord. Really tough break early in the seed that really put him behind the foot. But came back and made it somewhat exciting for a small moment. And then just showed the resilience of a good runner here on Ganon. It's a tough battle. But he pulled through. And we'll see if we can get Maligord in here for a quick chat before we send you guys off. So I know you might have been listening in, Fury. Do you have anything to add to chessjerk here before we get Maligord in here?
Not really. I mean, the the seed pretty much explained itself with how it laid itself out. The only thing that he could have done differently was get lucky with his routing, but, you know, that's the way it goes with that spot specifically.
Yeah. Which we touched on. And we do have Maligord here in the chat with us. GG, it was... man, the persistence there, you got to admire it. It's a tough fight with your resources, but you made it. You made it through.
Well, there became a point where I was not letting him out of that seat alive. I think there were a few times right at the beginning I screwed up on that fight. Then there was a couple times where he was in there with me and my sword went right through him. So I was mad enough at that point, and then there was the point where I actually got the stun lock and killed him, and then I died, and I'm like, well, that's just, he's not surviving this. There's just no way. And then it took me a little longer. And then I knew I was going to get sniped by that gorilla. I said that when I walked into that room, and there were 6 gorillas after that. I said, oh, I'm going to get sniped, and boom. Like,
yeah, that was just icing on the cake at that point.
Yeah, well... but GG to chessjerk.
GG Maligord.
I assumed I was last going into 9. And when I saw the first item, I thought, you know, I'm probably sunk. I got to get out of here. And that was the right call at the time. But
if you want to know where certain items were, I know where they all are. I got all of them. I got all of them.
I think I do too if I were to look, because I got the hint that the red ring was in 7, and I'm like, well, good for you, red ring.
Yes, yes. I dug out the red ring from 7 by searching 32 out of 33 rooms.
I guess the only things I don't know was level 7 down in the bottom left corner, or was it at the grave?
Yes, it was. Bottom left corner.
Bottom left corner. Okay, I knew. I had everything but 5 and 7. I mean, I found them. I just didn't know which one was which.
Gotcha.
But,
two big points of this race probably was, I think chessjerk had the wand probably in the first 7-8 minutes of the seed, and that really got him going quicker. And then you very nearly made the MVP play of digging level 6 before you went into 9.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought that, and when I saw the power bracelet in there, I was thinking that the silvers were in a level, you know, the 5 or 7 after that, but then I just happened to look at my map and saw, wait, I don't have the white sword item, and that has to be power bracelet blocked. So I almost made the un-MVP move of not picking up that power bracelet.
Yeah, we saw your double take on it, and like immediately, if you watch the restream back, I think I immediately shouted out like, "No, you better get that."
Yeah, if I hadn't looked at my map right as that, I was about to just peace out and not grab that, because I had all the levels. I knew where everything was except for the silvers, and if I hadn't seen that I still needed the white sword item, that could have been bad.
Yeah,
I could have lost even worse.
Well, I was lucky because I found the overworld hint, because I found it after getting the book, and it said that the silvers were in the grave, and then I dug the grave without the power bracelet or the recorder. I'm thinking, okay, I haven't found it yet. Then I found the recorder and checked those, like, oh, now I need the power bracelet, and then searched the entire rest of the game for the power bracelet. It was the very last item I could find.
So when were you in 9?
Oh, I was in 9 at like 42 minutes, I think.
Yeah.
It was pretty early, and I dug both items out.
Yeah, you guys did the same play of going to 9, which was a good, correct play for your information that you had at the time. But both of you dug level 9. CJ pulled both items out and dug more of level 9 than you did, but he just had a massive time advantage early on with that early wand grab, which led to an early book, which led to the hints that you didn't get until probably 20 to 25 minutes later, maybe.
Yeah, I still didn't get all the hints. I was pretty money strapped at the time. I was good for a while, but then I bought the candle and I bought the arrow, and then I started hitting door repair charges, so I wasn't able to get many hints.
They weren't the bot hints weren't very useful, because it told you recorder was in 4 and raft was in 5, and raft wasn't needed.
Right.
And that's
What was the first hint though, CJ? Come on, you're missing the important one.
Where the book is. Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Yes, very important. Very
yeah,
important.
I don't know if I would have found it without that hint.
I already, trust me, that's put way out of my mind already. I'm not even thinking about that anymore.
The game also wanted you to know that you were in that level 6 was by a lake, then that you were
in level 6
as well.
Yeah.
So it which wants to make sure that you know things that you already know.
The game wants to make sure it's a double, triple checking kind of thing.
Trying to help you out.
Yes.
So yeah, it was that's basically what it boiled down to. Just an early weapon advantage led to an early information advantage, and it just wasn't enough. It wasn't enough to come back from, unfortunately.
Yeah, I would have tried harder and won this match, but I didn't want to play random. I didn't want to embarrass him in the next round, so I'll let you do that, chessjerk.
That's the next level strat right there.
that is cosmic brain.
But you know, this is my first time in brackets in any tournament I've been in, so it's a lot of fun. And there's no easy matches from now on.
Yeah.
I see dropping down to the losers bracket. I'm gonna get either Amo, Matrick, or Captain Green. So, you know.
I actually think it's Ice Blue or Bobbing for Fries. Is that correct? Yeah, I think it's because.
Oh yeah, I'm looking at the wrong one. Yeah, I'm looking at the. Yeah.
You're gonna get the winner of Ice Blue or Bobbing for Fries.
Correct. Yeah.
Which that matchup has already taken place, I believe, in the Swiss rounds. Ice Blue, I believe, took the one there. So we'll see how that plays out. But yeah, as you mentioned, this is the first loss of the brackets. We have a double elimination, so you're not out of it yet. But it's gonna be a grind coming back out of the losers bracket. But I think you're one of those runners that's really capable of doing that in this flag set.
I'm just trying to keep the next level flags away for another round.
another good strat, I think. Yes, because those flags are ridiculous.
Yeah.
So
thank you guys for the restream, the comms, the tracking with Alan, and appreciate all you guys done.
Same.
Yes, thank
Absolutely.
you.
Thanks, guys.
And shout out to, as they mentioned, our runners. Give them a follow if you can. chessjerk and Maligord here put on a good show for us. The Alan Heffley in the background tracking for us. Speed Gaming Network and Speed Gaming 4 for hosting us tonight. Fury, I'll let you take the rest out.
Yep, don't forget we do have 2 races tomorrow. I believe one of them is at 2 Eastern, one of them is at 10 Eastern. So if you're craving some more Z1R action, at least the later of those 2 races will be on Speed Gaming. It looks like Speed Gaming 3 will be hosting that. And if you're looking for more action on Speed Gaming in general, I do believe that there is a California Fire Relief Marathon going on the Speed Gaming 1. So
correct.
Go ahead and check that out if you're looking for some more action. Yep. Outside of that, we've already said thanks to all the people involved, so I'll just go ahead and say, SK signing out for now.